number 5, Fnatic versus HOTU. If you're just joining us, my name is Blaker_CS. Trotta gave me the beautiful opportunity to watch some Counter-Strike on this wonderful Sunday morning, and here we are. I talked about it as well. I typically give a little bit more of a quote-unquote serious cast, I guess is what Trotta would call it. And if there's any request to go to a more casual thing, then we can. But in the pistol round, an aggressive water push as well from KRIMZ. Dukefissura? I'm just gonna say Duke for that one. Game sound is low. Let me help you out. There is a little bit of static as well going through on the clean feed. I'm gonna try and get that to not be picked up, but we'll see how that goes. There we go. That should be a little bit better. Duke still has this lurk in towards Rugs. Bomb's gonna be planted for Norbert. The hunt is still going on in towards A main though, and Duke's finally gonna find Maden. It's gonna be Fear in the 1v5, and I don't think you'll be able to do anything about it, and will not. Finds the pistol round, handshakes go around once more, and a lot of money in the bank accounts for HOTU as well. Funny how a bunch of people are copying FlameZ's hair clip. This round's over. Let's see. AKs or rifles all the way around. This is one thing that I am a very big proponent of, is you see a lot of T-sides on that second round mix up the SMGs and the rifles, and I think it's better for teams to just fully commit to the rifles, whether it's the Lils and lacking utility or just finding AKs all the way around. It feels like playing that range game on that second round as a T is so crucial. Especially on maps like Anubis, Mirage, Dust 2, where it's a lot of all-out aim duels. And that's one thing I think NA is a little bit behind on, because as I talked about, you see a lot of teams try to mix in SMGs, whether it's the MAC-10, the MP7, all into that second round rifle buy. Whereas if you just fully invest into the Glils and the AKs in that second round, you can just continuously bonus even into the rifle rounds of the CTs. So HOTU will have a little bit of a firepower advantage. Double peek comes in towards top bridge, and Norbert's going to be the one to hit the floor. mizu is keen to this walkout towards A main and is able to find the kill. A little bit of T2ers, but the AXQ is popping off, and Jambo sits down kAlash. So frontales and Duke are going to be left in a 2v4. frontales is able to find the first kill, though. Evens it out just a tad, and jackasmo, meantime, takes down Duke. So 1v3 on the board. jackasmo, I think, just narrowly missed that timing in towards the hole, so frontales has a free walk in towards E-box, but that bomb is still down outside double doors, so there's a lot of work to be done to actually recover it. Frontales definitely hearing the jump spots going out towards mid. Now you can even see Maden's gone ahead and turned around. Taking a look towards Palace, so frontales will have to find his way around this duel with Maden, but full peek will not come into his favor. Maden's gonna shut it down. Fnatic able to convert their rifle round, and who knows, maybe some set strategies, some homework been done for Fnatic. I talked about how Fnatic have the 100% win rate, but it's only across 3 maps, and realistically, HOTU have a bigger sample size with what I would say is an impressive win rate, 83% against 6 maps played, so we'll see. Water control immediately taken for HOTU. Looks like they're trying to prioritize canals and A main. But interestingly enough, it's created this awkward standstill where HOTU are past Rugs and past the canals, but that stair smoke doesn't allow Duke to offer realistically any support. It almost feels like a little bit of a waste of time since that E-box smoke was also deployed. mizu finds the spot, and I believe a little bit of a team dink hits Maden. Ace will follow through. is offered up towards A main. The mid push is underway, though. Duke is going to be the one to lead the charge through house. He spotted the shoulder of jackasmo, but is waiting for a reswing. Jambo gets dropped down easily with that Tech 9, and now that creates an opening for Norbert and the rest of HOTU to make their way in towards Temple, but they have to expend a lot of resources to actually find their way in. The pump of the brakes will allow them to reroute back in towards B and back in towards E-Box, but you can also see Fnatic are prepping in this A main push, and this counter flash might soil it all. kAlash is close by. Flashbang does hit its mark perfectly, and KRIMZ and jackasmo go down. So that's the A site completely busted open. And what I thought was going to be a rotation in towards B just immediately shut down, and Fnatic almost are ready to send themselves to save. Here's going to have mizu offered up. It's just going to be the lurker of this HOTU squad. Duke going to be the one to punch in the numbers, and essentially round 3 on the board for HOTU. Bearing any crazy frags and any attempt at a retake, but Fnatic know what's better for them. At least one more map in the waiting. It'll be a third on the board for HOTU. Fear and Maden able to secure rifles into the next, but money on the rest of the members isn't all that there either. Frontales still has the AWP. With that bomb timer ticking away, HOTU will make their exit out of that A site. It's going to be a third on the board. And I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a little bit of a back and forth battle. Especially if Fnatic were able to find that second round or the third round win. It'll be interesting. And I don't know about you guys, chat, but I am definitely rooting for HOTU in this one. Round 5 underway. Oh, is Frontales going to go right in towards A main? No, he's just going to post on canals. So this flashbang that I think that's Duke is throwing every round, I think is to prevent any drop in through the hole, but at a certain point, I almost feel like they're going to attempt to use that as some sort of fake information. Flashbang in toward mid-bridge. jackasmo is forced to check his angles, but kAlash has made his way in towards A main. And look at the minimap. Both KRIMZ and I believe that's Jambo are completely focused on towards mid. The lack of noise is finally going to draw their gaze back towards A main, but KRIMZ only has an MP9 to work with, and Duke is playing this close angle, but as he gets the spot, he can't find the first shot. KRIMZ is playing ring around the rosy of the new box, but finally has his head separated from the shoulders. KRIMZ goes down, jackasmo is fast on the flank, but look at this. mizu is keen to it and is able to shut it down. Fear and Maden now have a familiar territory, essentially, in a 2v5, but save is what should be called, and that is exactly what's going to be called. And you can also see that HOTU aren't wanting to let them recover any of these rifles or this SMG. mizu's already on the hunt towards E-Box. Maden's giving a little bit of a jiggle, but will he be able to get the spot is the next question. Norbert's creeping around through B main, trying to offer up a little bit of a pinch, but pincers have to be sharpened. And Norbert still has to clear his way in through B main as well. Flashbang gets popped. mizu's able to find Maden, but look at this. Fear's still in the corner and is able to slip the gaze. He recovers an AK-47. Norbert's trying to find this kill, but Fear will not be able to live into the next round. The AKs are denied. HOTU strong already, even with those post-plant hunts. Shots are connecting. Strategy is all there. I believe a attack pause comes out. Heard a little bit of chat. No, I'm wrong. Completely wrong. It's round 6. HOTU with the 3-round lead. Money not going to be an issue. Frontales has that AWP back in his hands. Just upgraded pistols for the side of Fnatic. We're going to try and look to force HOTU into a move that they don't want to actually make, but realistically with those pistols, it's going to be a lot more easier said than done. And Blue offers up a spam in towards House. Duke's ready for the reswing, though, and mizu's going to be the one to collect the kill. He wants to keep running with this momentum and prove that he's the top player of this tournament. Finds a second kill, and is going to continue this charge in towards camera. The fast rotation from Maden makes its way in towards storage, but still, Fear is a little bit cautious of this late lurk in towards B main, and for good reason. HOTU have constantly sent a late lurk, but not in this one. Maden will find a headshot on towards mizu. That's an AK-47 for the recovering, but doesn't look like Norbert's going to allow it. Jiggers go back and forth. Maden finally push back off of the angle, but Norbert's main priority is making sure that he cannot save that AK-47. Duke able to collect the over-aggression. And Fear's just kind of on an island. Makes his way back in towards E-Box, but there's no way that kAlash doesn't re-clear this. And he does. Fear not even able to recover the 5-7. Goes down. HOTU find a 5th. And I talked about it. Fnatic, have the 100% win rate, or completely undefeated, but they only have a 3-map sample size. So unless there's some serious anti-stratting coming out on the table for Fnatic, I don't think that they really played to their strengths in terms of the map pool. Back timeout for Fnatic as well. So maybe one of those set plays that I was just talking about. Some of the strategy being put on display, but we'll have to see what that's actually going to look like. Instant Stare Smoke should be redeployed as Fnatic have been doing that essentially every round. And a little bit of an extended pause. We were talking about it a little bit, Norbert offering a lot of experience to this young roster as well in HOTU, so really being put on display. And the one thing that I think is really translating well is the patient play. You can see that HOTU are even taking their time getting up close towards B main, and even A main. They're prioritizing water and canals control and just waiting for any over-aggressions from Fnatic. And Fnatic are going to try and test their boundaries now. Double push through A main and towards E-Box, so all of canals and water is secured for the likes of Fnatic, but counter utility is in order. Duke's going to pop a flashbang in towards A main. kAlash is able to find a little bit of damage, but can't actually find the kill. And Maden and KRIMZ have all of canals locked down, so as Duke goes peeking in, he's going to be eliminated, and it's all left onto mizu, frontales, and Norbert. His crossfire is still in effect, so KRIMZ has a free activation because he hasn't been cleared either, so able to find frontales. That's the AWP down. jackasmo is able to find mizu, and Norbert left in the 1v5, so most experienced member has to pull off the most well-versed clutch of 2026, and it does not come to fruition. Fnatic find a second. And money should start to build up for them as well. A lot of voices being put in towards that Fnatic roster, and that's one thing that I also noticed when I got to watch them at Frag Block, is that this roster, or this rendition of Fnatic, has a lot of voices that are active in that squad, so communication never going to be an issue, but more so just kind of the coordination between all the members. Another patient start to round number 8 for the side of HOTU. Three-man stack towards the B side for Fnatic. No water aggression being taken, but standard utility sets from HOTU as well. And HOTU are just looking to test the patience of Fnatic, let them overthink and overanalyze the situation. Top forces Maden out of E-Box. Like the real prize for the side of HOTU is going to be this A site. Molotov just narrowly misses Norbert. He's able to squeak by, but jackasmo's not prepped for this angle, but he's able to react just in time. jackasmo shuts down Norbert. The push towards A main is still happening, and KRIMZ is somehow still alive. He dodges the flashbangs, able to duck through the smoke, but has jackasmo back towards pillar to be able to offer support, and he can't offer anything. Duke shuts him down. KRIMZ goes for the reswing, but kAlash is going to shut it down as well. kAlash trying to lead the charge is shut down by Jambo's AWP, but won't be able to find any more. Maden's on a quick flank, but Duke shuts it down once again. Duke going for the recheck out towards Canals. Didn't spot Fear initially, so that allows Fear to find that kill. mizu is going to be the one to punch in the numbers, but frontales is waiting for a half-wall swing. And he's not ever going to get it because it feels like Fnatic are just waiting for Fear to activate on the flank and just kind of draw a lot of that attention away from Jambo. AWP still in the hands of Jambo as well, so realistically one and done in his exchange. As the Molotov clears close right, Fear's going to get moving in towards Pillar, but now fully clears out. mizu's lifting the 1v1. AWP still in the hands for Jambo, but doesn't want to take that duel. Whips out the USP, and it will not be successful, so a solid round from HOTU. And Fnatic, it feels like, are starting to put the pieces together, at least in terms of how HOTU enjoy to play Anubis, because we've seen how they take a very slow approach to the beginning stages of these rounds, but as soon as they find an opening, they try to put the pedal to the metal, and that allows Fnatic to get some of these rotations earlier than they were, because we also saw that HOTU were putting up a little bit of a late lurk towards the opposite side of the map, so maybe some keys to victory being discovered for the likes of Fnatic. Tails dropped off of that E-box position, but smoke will not help his case either. It's a three-man stack in towards this B site once again. 2 towards E-box, 1 towards Dark. And the utility clears out all of A main. Duke is going to be the one sent in to confirm after not finding anything through the spam. Wouldn't be surprised if HOTU try to take this back towards E-box and eventually pop out on this B site. Kind of just all relies on the late timing of mizu, though. See the forces starting to gather. Frontales is able to find Maden. But still, look at this. HOTU aren't keen on just putting the pedal fully to the metal. They know that Fnatic are going to try and overcompensate for that individual frag that happened in E-box, but now Fnatic are having the realization. Flashbangs and utility starting to ring out towards mid. Missed shot from Jambo, but he now has to still hold this line. He has support from KRIMZ, but he goes 1 for 1 and won't be able to connect the shots. Jambo under pressure, can't find anything either, and Duke absolutely obliterates this A-site defense. 20 seconds left on the clock, but the numbers are being punched in, so it won't necessarily matter, and jackasmo and Fear have a decision. Should they save or should they go for this? And based on the past few rounds, it feels like it's going to be a save, and jackasmo walks back in towards storage, so it's going to be a 7th on the board for HOTU, and a strong start to the map pick of Fnatic as well. I talked about, and I sound like a broken record over and over again, that Fnatic have that 100% win rate on this map, but it's only across 3 actual, matches. And HOTU, they have a lower win rate percentage on this map, but HOTU have the bigger sample sizes. At 6 games played, 83% win rate. And that's also not mentioning that 4 members of this HOTU squad are in the top 8 of this tournament in terms of rating. I mean, we talked about before this match went live, I think it was mizu sits at, I think, a 1.84 over this tournament, and that is an absolutely bonkers stat. Tactical timeout, and for good reason. Fnatic haven't been able to find anything at all on their CT side. And as I mentioned, it feels like they're starting to have the proper reads across the map and getting rotations underway at the right times, but the shots aren't hitting either. I mean, you could even see, I'm blanking on the opera of Fnatic. I gotta pull up the team list, hold on. I'm fake, I know. Jambo. You could see when Jambo was feeling all of the pressure on that A site, even with his op, just going back and forth with his mouse, not able to really make up his mind and commit to an angle, but it just shows that HOTU are really strategic with the pace that they're trying to apply across the map. Fnatic, look at this, are actually trying to counter it right back, but Norbert's going to not allow it. Maden's already made the drop through the hole, but just as he drops, HOTU are just going to completely ignore the drop through canals and subvert the Canal's control. They've made their way all the way through mid. Duke is going to try and push in towards Temple, but he's shut down from Jambo. There's a refrag opportunity for mizu, but he's just going to go and exchange the HE grenades, and left in the man disadvantage. HOTU now have to try and pivot back in towards this A site, but it would work if they do, because look at this. Fnatic have completely rotated everyone back towards this B site, and the only standing member is going to be KRIMZ. He has a great position in towards heaven to catch mizu off guard, but as he finds that frag, he's able to convert a second. So the round kind of saved, as kAlash still has a 1v4 opportunity, but as he finds the first, kAlash has to make his... Oh my lord. Has to make more of it, but Fnatic able to finally convert it. And I think the real key decision from Fnatic there was, as soon as Maden goes for the drop and the kills start happening towards mid, Maden's able to either make a decision on whether or not he wants to bolster down the A site or the B site, and because of the pace and the defensive smoke that was dropping towards camera, I realistically think that that B rotation was the right call. But at the end of the day, when there's a last-second pivot like that, you can't really account for that. Bangs over mid-bridge. Fear's taking this aggressive control in towards useless. And it's funny, I find it so funny that that position is called useless, yet it feels like it has some of the most impact or potential to... So that position itself has the potential to swing rounds like no other. But the call for that position is useless, so... Who knows? mizu constant on this jump spot out towards B main, will not spot anything. Fnatic still committing 3 members towards this B site, and I'm interested to know if Fnatic have done, you know, some anti-stratting and that's what's leaning them to lean towards B, or if this is just how they play Anubis. Because in my personal opinion, it feels like 3 members sitting around B is kind of useless, because you can see, I mean, now they're going for a flash play out towards B main, but there's not even going to be a flash. There's just going to be a dry peek, but that's all the information that Fnatic need. Start getting rotations towards mid and towards A. You can see that Jambo and Fear have started to burrow themselves in. Jambo's going to be posted, or sorry, that's Fear posted behind Cake, but why are they both looking towards camera? Flashes are popped over. Fear activates from back. Cake and finds 2 great headshots. Make that a third. He's lining him up and knocking him down. It's frontales and mizu left in the 2v4. But frontales has to make that big green worth the investment, and he will be able to open it up for the time being. mizu has a great position in towards house, but KRIMZ is keen to it and shuts it all down. There's 15 seconds left on the clock, but no bomb on the back of frontales, so a 4th round goes into the scoreboard for Fnatic. KRIMZ also trying to get this hunt on towards mid-bridge and not allow the save of the AWP, but the round win is what's mattering. Great round from Fnatic. And the one thing that I think was key, or was a key difference in that specific, you know, Canal's aggression from the side of Fnatic, is they sent Fear all the way in through the hole, but as soon as he wasn't receiving any counter aggression from the likes of HOTU, he just burrowed himself back in towards A main and allowed HOTU to slowly creep their way in. Set up that beautiful double defense with Jambo. On the last round of the first half, Fnatic have the opportunity to buy what I would say is adequate breathing room for themselves going into the T side. Money not all that there for HOTU either, so I would expect some sort of shock and awe style of play. Whether towards A main or whether towards B, and it feels like the end goal is going to be the B site. 3 members of HOTU gathered outside B main. And this is the one round, surprisingly, that Fnatic have not put 3 members B, so maybe that counter strat not working to their favor. Going to be all of the firepower for HOTU as well, trying to bust in towards this B site, but that B main smoke will put a pause to it. And no! Fear just narrowly missed the timing. mizu's able to find jackasmo and finds a second, but Norbert takes out mizu. And so either way, the site is still taken. Bomb still has to be recovered for the side of HOTU as well. But look at this. kAlash, he's held the trigger. He has a perfect activation onto 2 members through canals, but he narrowly misses the first shot, is able to convert it. Norbert still trying to maintain control of the B site, and now has to switch to the AK-47. It's a 3v2, but still, the timing feels a little bit weird, but frontales is there to cover it. KRIMZ has a 1v3 to prevent HOTU from being on to 8, but frontales post on the angle. We'll see the shoulder and shut it down. It's a beautiful T-side from HOTU, as I mean, they have plenty of room on their CT side, and Fnatic already have their back against the wall going into their CT side of their, or on their T side of their own map pick. And so I think it's just a great reading of the room from HOTU on their T side. That's what I think that whole first half comes down to. HOTU's defaults start with them playing far back, gathering information, and just trying to make a plan based off of the information they're given. And whether that's just continuing with the momentum that they're able to find with these individual picks towards mid or even towards A main, or whether that's finding those individual picks and then just slowing down and waiting for any overreactions from Fnatic, felt really good. And if you're just joining us, my name is Blake_CS. We're on the Trotta TV channel, Trotta's second channel. This is Roman Imperium Cup V. We're taking a look at Fnatic versus HOTU. The winner of this will move on to the grand finals against Gentlemates, which we will be taking a look at after this one as well. I want to give a big shout out to Trotta as well, giving me the opportunity to watch some Counter-Strike on this beautiful Sunday morning. Fnatic playing a very passive start to their pistol round. kAlash is going to be dropped down to 28 HP off the jiggle towards E-Box. HOTU, it feels like they're gearing up for a push in towards a main, and KRIMZ might be ready for it. He's posted. The timing does not work out in his favor. He didn't spot either of these players and did not spot mizu either. So mizu has free access to shut down any sort of play. Fnatic tried to reroute in towards canals, but look at this. It's going to be a slow walk up towards mid from the side of Fnatic, mixed with some utility on A from KRIMZ. Duke is going to be the one that has to receive the brunt end of this contact. Jumps are going to come around. Going to hear all of the information, trying to count out the footsteps, but off of the jiggle, he will have the information gathered. Utility reigning over the A side as well, so mizu just has to stay put until KRIMZ makes his presence known, and frontales is tucked in towards pillar. Fnatic haven't found any resistance going into this A side, so they have to be a little bit concerned, but frontales has a free activation. Separates the head from the shoulders of Maden, but look at this out towards A main. The contact between mizu and KRIMZ finally happens, so mizu's finally able to offer support to this retake, but HOTU are just finding the duels going in their favor. Jackasmo and Jambo left in a 2v4, but they can't do a damn thing. The tap of the bomb draws out the swings, and it's a 9th round for HOTU. I mean, there's not really much else you can say with that. It's just a solid pistol round from the side of HOTU. And the key part of that made it a little bit more difficult was the fact that mizu just kind of had to wait until KRIMZ was able to make his way in towards the site, but KRIMZ himself was just waiting for a rotation. And with mizu implanted in towards useless, HOTU just have to turn a blind eye towards canals. And so as soon as mizu finds that frag onto KRIMZ, he's able to offer support onto the retake, and like I said, it wasn't even necessarily needed. Second round force buy from the side of Fnatic. Jackasmo is going to find kAlash, a little bit of sleep at the wheel, but still M4's await for the rest of HOTU. I just realized that the HUD is backwards on my raw feed. KRIMZ going to be taken out by frontales, a little bit of a bait and switch between mizu. After mizu's pushed all the way through A main, Norbert's going to drop the defensive smoke. He now knows that Fnatic either have to be stuck in between A main or canals. And that's crazy. As soon as I said that the HUD was flipped, it got switched. Roman Imperium people, if you're in chat, thank you. Also, thank you for putting on a great tournament as well. And this is such a disciplined play from the side of mizu. mizu could have kept walking all the way through T-spawn and trying to find a timing and trying to find a backstab, but he's just trying to play a defensive information role. Because even if mizu goes down, if Fnatic decided to walk there, then mizu just collects information on where the end goal for Fnatic is. Duke's able to find the shoulder of Maden. That's going to prompt him to go swinging wide, but he has to double check and do a double take in towards CT spawn. Fnatic trying to pivot right back into this B site. Norbert is tucked in towards long. Has Maden offered up on a silver platter, but mizu can't find anything rotating in towards E-Box, and look at this. Fnatic trying to run back towards this A site. jackasmo's 17 HP, and he's the most forward player on this roster. So frontales has an easy access in towards heaven if he's able to find the duel, but jackasmo catches him off guard, and Fnatic convert a second round force. So beautiful round from them. Man, look at the hairs on his arm. He's completely standing up. And so who knows? Maybe Fnatic are trying to give HOTU a little bit of a taste of their own medicine, that slower style of Counter-Strike, and just really trying to play the information gathering. Instant beat cross smoke. Oh, look at this. HOTU are keen to this anti-eco play. Molotov in towards pillar will tickle the toes of 3 members, and it's a napalm strike, essentially. Norbert's forced to defensive smoke, but he's going to go unchecked, so Fear hits the floor. Norbert has an opportunity at another, but can't connect it. kAlash is able to find a deagle kill on towards jackasmo, but jackasmo and Maden go 1-1. So still, frontales has made his way in through the smoke, and like a ship in the night, he activates, finds 2 kills with the MAC-10, scoops up an AK-47, and it's all on to KRIMZ. He has a 1v3, but the tables have been turned. I mean, how do you let that happen if you're Fnatic? KRIMZ knows that frontales is still playing towards pizza, but frontales has loads of support from the rest of HOTU, and KRIMZ gets the rest of Fnatic. What a fumble. Holy. I mean, the fact that frontales is able to just scoop up the MAC-10 and walk through that smoke is bonkers to me. I mean, in my 1800 elo pugs, people see a random smoke and are blowing it open, you know? Like, there's no smoke that gets left unturned. So, a little bit of a wild moment if you're Fnatic. 5-round lead, though, for HOTU. Money should start to bankroll after this round, but the rifles are in their favor. Fear and KRIMZ on the side of Fnatic are going to draw the short end of the stick with upgraded pistols, but Fear also has a great deal of utility to offer support to one of these site attacks, and jackasmo opens it up with a great frag on towards Norbert. kAlash is cautious of this pizza walk, but still going to just occupy the position himself, and as Jambo goes walking through, he will put his back right up against kAlash. It's a free kill. Re-smoke towards B main to deny any further push because the information is definitely there, but look at this. I just looked at the minimap. Maden somehow has found his way all the way through mid and has a perfect backstab opportunity, but kAlash has to be cautious of this or he will hit the floor, and he turns! So Maden's flank is essentially rendered useless. jackasmo finds the trade, but there's already rotations happening towards the B site. You can even see that KRIMZ outside A main is waiting for information, but his teammates are falling apart one by one, and so if he doesn't activate fast enough, then Fear has no chance at getting towards this B site. And with the rotations that HOTU have already put underway, Fnatic have no chance at making their way into this round. Fear's able to pick up a Galil, which offers a little bit of swing opportunity, but he's only able to convert 1. Needs 2 more. The fact that he's crossed over to the left side of main gives him an opportunity to abandon ship, but will he decide to? No. He tries to keep going in through the B site. mizu's going to shut it down. It's an 11th round for the side of HOTU, and I don't want to write Fnatic off on map 1, but I am already looking forward to this Gentlemates and HOTU matchup. See kAlash also getting excited as well, and for good reason. When you are this dominant on your opponent's map pick, it's got to be a great feeling. jackasmo's going to be the one leading the charge in towards mid. MAC-10s and Tech-9s in the hands of Fnatic. Dink goes in towards Duke, and jackasmo just goes flying in towards camera. Maden's able to convert a second kill on towards mizu, and so we're left in a 3v4, make it a 3v3 after kAlash activates, but still trying to push the agenda and trying to make his way in towards A main, but on second thought is just going to wait for the reinforcement. jackasmo is able to find Norbert, so maybe a little bit of lack of communication from the side of HOTU, which kind of catches me by surprise because the spacing was not all that there. frontales has no idea that Jambo's tucked close right, so if Jambo decides to activate, he just has to realistically slide wing or swing wide. I completely got mixed up, and never mind. Jambo's able to find the AWP after a beautiful deagle shot. It's a successful round from the side of Fnatic to put 6 onto the board. And that might be the key to Fnatic's offense, is just trying to pull that shock and awe factor against HOTU, because even with that AWP being in place, not necessarily able to connect any kills. I don't think HOTU will be dissuaded from continuing on their push, though. As I talked about, when you have members like mizu, like kAlash, like Norbert, you're used to this pressure. Let's also take a look at the scoreboard for the side of HOTU. Frontales, kAlash, and Duke all have 15 kills apiece, so the only real member not doing a lot of the lifting is going to be Norbert, but that's kind of expected. I'd imagine he's playing that IGL role with the amount of experience he has. Frontales is caught off guard. But still, Fnatic just trying to play the information game. Norbert's going to get a spot in towards B main, but instantly causes Fear to back up. Duke has his toes tickled by the Molotov, but the failed pop flash will offer up an easier duel. And HOTU don't even want to mess with mid. Flash is already on the rotation in towards the A site. Or maybe even just trying to play information for a temple push, but smoke in towards E-Box has just narrowly missed the timing. And call me crazy, but as soon as Fnatic get out onto this B site, I almost think we're going to see just a 4-man save from the side of HOTU. Give us a little bit of a callback to that IGL Jame time. Smoke is deployed long, as well as Temple. Fnatic still a little bit cautious, as they have not received any bit of contact entering this B site. Once the numbers are punched in, yeah, it's going to be a 4-man save from the side of HOTU. Good casting. Thank you, Onyx. I appreciate that. 4-man save from HOTU. Fnatic able to have a flawless round in its entirety. The money should start to bankroll for the side of Fnatic, but at the same time, HOTU, with those 4 rifles recovered, should be able to drop something to Frontales, and even if he doesn't, it doesn't feel like the end of the world. Bomb timer will tick away. Fnatic able to put a 7th on the board, need 4 more to tie us up. But I've also started to show some light on their T side. When Fnatic were playing that CT side, it did not feel good whatsoever. It almost felt like they were just completely uncoordinated. Timeout does come in from HOTU. And I'm interested to see what this next round's going to look like from the side of HOTU. Whether we're going to see a set play for some canals control, maybe even just a bolstering down of some of these sites. But what will tell that story for me is what the buy looks like. And as we talked about, 4 saved rifles. Frontales will have an M4A1S dropped and does have plenty of utility on the belt. So maybe more so of a standard round from HOTU, but I still would expect them to at least send maybe Norbert flying in towards the hole and trying to take canals control with some support from kAlash out E-Box. But we will have to wait and see. It's round 19 of HOTU versus Fnatic, map 1 of the Roman Imperium Cup. Jambo's going to post his gaze on towards E-Box. Duke is able to find a great early kill, though, so that's the heavy investment down, and Maden's just going to try and, I'd assume, recover it, or at least maintain control canals, but he's forced to poise his gaze back towards the hole. Molotov to force out the corner. KRIMZ still has a main control, but it's a little bit of a back and forth across the map, a standstill, if you will. I love this this B-site defense that HOTU have set up, playing out of E-Box. As soon as there's any pressure through B main, we'll see both kAlash and Norbert try to fight their way in towards Canal. Change towards mid, goes 1 for 1. Norbert's able to activate and find Maden asleep at the wheel, not expecting that second player being tucked in towards E-Box. And KRIMZ left on his lonesome will not be able to do a damn thing. It's a 12th round for HOTU, 1 away from closing out the map pick of Fnatic, and in dominant fashion, I'd say. This land seems like a nice day out. It does. The land center seems nice and cozy. What I'm almost imagining, if you've ever seen it, is Mao's, I think, at their headquarters has like a LAN center or a LAN arena, and they've got like 2 rows of computers with a whole bunch of bleachers that go up in front of it. And it's like a small little cozy feeling. Kind of reminds me of that. But if you do want a nice day out, and you happen to reside in North America, Philadelphia York is happening in, I believe, a little under, or a little over 30 days? And then we have some bigger events coming in later this year. Round 20 underway. kAlash trying to offer up a flashbang, I believe, but actually not going to. Who is this beautiful man hosting Trotta's second channel? Well, since you're asking, my name is Blaker_CS. I am a North American Counter-Strike color commentator. And Trotta hit me up last night to cover some Counter-Strike matches early in this morning. But we'll save that thought for another day. There's a cross-smoke dropped in from the side of Fnatic, but kAlash is going to be the only member here for HOTU to really offer up a defense. Nade doesn't find its mark. Duke is not going to find the exchange out towards mid, so it creates a little bit of an interesting situation. 3v3, kAlash and KRIMZ still going to be the low HP members of each of these rosters, but with that bomb punched in, creates... Oh, wow. Bomb punched in and cross-smoke faded. Jambo's left on his lonesome towards this side of the site and now has an opportunity to tuck himself towards E-Box. Oh, but look at this. Frontales. No, he just turned away from the angle. He's stuck around the arch and... Oh, a beautiful shot from Jambo. Narrows it down to a 2v3. jackasmo's going to have a perfect activation from a flashbang that mizu threw, and Jambo finds his second. Fnatic able to put up 8. Still putting up a little bit of a defense on their own map pick, but HOTU is still on map point. So, if you're just joining us, my name is Blaker_CS. We're on the Trotta TV channel, Trotta's second channel. I am a North American Counter-Strike color commentator, and I typically cover ESEA matches. I've also covered UCL, Dust 2 Eagle Masters. I did Philadelphia Miami at the beginning of this year, and I'm hoping to make a LAN appearance as a caster this year. And Trotta hit me up late last night and was like, hey, I know it's late, but if you want, you can watch some Counter-Strike. And here we are. And so a massive shout out to Trotta as well. Shout out to Joel as well for helping me with this process. Thank you for the backstory. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. It's always a great day when we get to watch some Counter-Strike. Interesting, Molotov doesn't actually hit its mark towards Pizza. Norbert was actually just covered in flames. Oh, but look at this. If Norbert finds this frag on towards Sphere, that's the bomb down. But the bomb is spotted. jackasmo was able to find a flank in towards Temple, so that's the B-side secured. And HOTU should be forced into a save. Sphere just delaying this bomb plant, waiting for any of the final hunts to go down. mizu dropped down to 12 HP. And Fnatic really just want to take these rifles out of the hands of HOTU. The delay from Fear to plant that bomb was to allow the rest of the Fnatic members to slowly corral the last 2 HOTU members. And Maden's going to be the one to identify the location. Has Frontales offered up on a silver platter. mizu's going to be posted on the angle now, but has to find a little bit of aggression to make that 1-for-1 worth it. But getting out of storage. He should catch Maden off guard, but with the low HP, he won't be able to convert the kill. Not with the M4A1S. The Fnatic pick up a 9th. Slowly crawling their way back in towards overtime, but have to keep the charge coming. I think a little bit of a tech issue as well. We saw jackasmo take off the headset, and the camera's frozen. So, some definite tech issues coming in. And at the beginning of this match, I was talking about how it felt like Fnatic shouldn't be able to actually win this one. I mean, they have a 100% win rate on Anubis, but they only have a 3-map sample size, whereas HOTU have an 83% win rate across 6 maps. So a little bit more sample size, that win rate a little bit less, but I also think with HOTU having 4 members in the top 8 of the top-rated players of this tournament, that also is going to tell a big chunk of this story. Mizu currently sits, or before this match, I should say, sits at a 1.84, if I remember correctly. And that in itself is just an outstanding stat. Fnatic has been awful also for a long time. That is very true. I was talking about it before we got into this one. I am a little bit biased towards HOTU in general because I'm not a fan of Fnatic after they dropped Cypher. Call me crazy, but Cypher was one of my favorite players as a person. Maybe not the best player, but still I really enjoyed him as a character, and when I got to meet him at Frag Block, it was a good time, so to see him just get immediately dropped after that tournament was heartbreaking, and then I was on the anti-Fnatic train. A full USP round from HOTU, and what is this stack I'm about to see? 4-man camera stack. No one's going to come even close to it, as Fnatic are just going to try and prod their way in towards this B site. Utility to cover all angles, and Norbert has made the call. It's an abandoned ship of the 5-man stack. And a 5v5 retake, but HOTU only have USPs, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just try to position themselves for some exit kills. Spot happens in towards jackasmo. He's got to fight for his life now. Support slowly making its way in from Maden, but head is offered from Norbert, and it is not taken. Maden's able to convert a second kill on towards kAlash. The anti-eco is unfolding relatively well for the side of Fnatic, but there's still a flank coming in from mizu, and all of their attention is posted towards mid, so mizu has free access, but is only able to convert one. Narrowly found the second, but either way, Fnatic come away with the round win. Camera still frozen for jackasmo. Why aren't you Trotta? Chat, Blaker took over the Trotta B stream. He's goated. Why aren't I Trotta? Because Trotta's Trotta. And then if I was Trotta, then Trotta wouldn't be Trotta. And Trotta would be Blaker. Hair kind of mid, though. I'll agree. That is one criticism I will take. My hair is kind of mid. Me and Trotta were talking about how I was kind of disappointed he got rid of the Trot Rida, but at the same time, he's got, like, his own unique look going on. The real tell for me, though, is if Trotta actually goes out in public without wearing a hat. Or, like, a beanie or something. If he's committed to the bit. Because if you ask me, that's free marketing. Someone asks you why you have your haircut like that, you'd be like, oh, I did it for my stream. Will you tackle the chair, though? Holy... I don't think I have enough room. Or shave your head for fun. I would go bald. It probably would not look good, but will I tackle the chair? I don't have room. I could give it an attempt, but I'd probably end up in the ER. Bomb being punched in for the side of Fnatic. Jambo's going to be the one to do the deed, but Norbert and kAlash left in another 2vx situation, and the save comes in once again. We're essentially having Jame time. It just would... Y'all are making me really consider this. Annihilate the chair? I don't know. We'll see. I'd have to get the camera angle right and everything. Trotta also told me he has a... Yeah, that's literally what I was going to say, Third, is that he says there's a technique. Because, like, I'm thinking about it, right? And my thought is to just put my shoulder into this part of the chair. And then go through it. Fnatic just need one more round to tie us up and take us into overtime. The money's not going to be all that there for HOTU either. MP7, MP9 on Duke. Frontail is still lacking in the finances as well. HOTU haven't been able to find any sort of entrance on their CT side. They found one round. But it's kind of been the Fnatic show ever since. Interestingly enough, frontales has a UMP too. He said he did once injure himself, but I have to see. I have to go to my J word on Tuesday, and I don't think my J word will cover. I don't think workers' comp covers a injury that's not at work. Top in towards E-Box. Norbert still has his attention divided, but jackasmo's been able to find Duke on a mid-walk already. Man disadvantage for the side of HOTU. There's an A-main push being prompted as well, but KRIMZ has just dodged all of the timing. Maden's able to find frontales, but can't actually convert the kill. That should prompt an activation from the side of KRIMZ, but he actually just burrows himself in towards Rugs. That lets all of HOTU just kind of nestle in towards canals. They know that Fnatic have to expend some sort of utility to actually make their way in. Uses utility being dispensed from jackasmo. Has drawn Norbert over, but is immediately going to rotate back in towards this B site. And off the noise, jackasmo's going to try and get active. Flashbang in, mizu's able to dodge it, but mizu just narrowly is able to convert that kill. Scoops up the AK-47, frontales waits in towards pizza for this first push, but the crossfire is built. Frontales is able to find fear, KRIMZ activates out of B-box, Norbert stuck between a rock and a hard place and cannot convert the kill. KRIMZ finds two, mizu is on the rotation early on, but kAlash has joined him, and mizu only has 7 HP to work with, so Fnatic do have a hefty health advantage, and only 40 seconds is what stands between Fnatic and taking us into overtime. Mizu's going to be the main proprietor out towards long, but still, Jambo has tucked in towards back plat. Smoke towards temple has to dissipate for Mizu to get activated. Have support from his teammate. kAlash's location is noted. Jambo is able to find Mizu. It's now all left onto kAlash. He's able to find the 1v1, but now has to go swinging, and he converts it. So HOTU, by the skin of their teeth, take the first map pick of Fnatic, and I didn't think we would have expected that one. I mean, realistically, it felt like Fnatic had an opportunity to bring it back on their T side because HOTU were just struggling that whole time. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I mean, you look at Brolin now, playing for Mouse. Mezzi's doing the same on Vitality. BlameF was back on this Fnatic roster for a short stint, but correct my, or I apologize for my lack of ball knowledge. I'm not too familiar with where he's at now. Duke takes contact up towards top mid. I'm going to throw my last little nicotine pouch, and this execute's going to go underway. It's a solid push out onto this B site. Bomb is going to be punched in. On top hits it with the floor. Let me adjust the volume a little bit for you guys. Should be good. Let me know if volume needs to go up or down. We'll see. Norbert's waiting for this push in towards window. Has dual Berettas to make the job a little bit easier, but the pop flash actually catches one member of the Fnatic pushing through, so kAlash is able to find KRIMZ. Maden still alive backside. Can't find anything, and Norbert's able to rip the dualies around, finding 2 kills. And a successful pistol round for the side of HOTU. And HOTU really did a phenomenal job at playing a slow style of Counter-Strike on Anubis, and I realistically think that's what caused issues for Fnatic on their CT side, is dealing with the patience that HOTU were willing to, you know, enact across the map. And going into a map like Dust 2, some of those choke points are going to be a lot closer than others, so maybe some opportunities for the likes of Fnatic to create some room. jackasmo's dropped down to 30 HP early on. mizu finds 2 great kills through upper B, and so, God forbid a crazy clutch from jackasmo or Maden or Jambo. Maybe a second on the board for HOTU. I talked about how I'm a fan of the fact that HOTU really invest into the rifles rather than mixing up the SMGs and the rifles. And realistically, I think that just comes from the style of Counter-Strike that HOTU play. You can already see it in these first 2 rounds that they're taking a very passive and slow approach to their defaults, and I think that second round anti-eco buy kind of is a testament to that. They're trying to really play the range game to their advantage, not wanting to let the 5.7s or the upgraded pistols or even the MP9 for that matter get anywhere close. In round three, it'll be upgraded pistols from the side of Fnatic, and HOTU are just looking to take long control. Once again, trying to press the range advantage. Will not find anyone home. The closest member being Maden, but he's rotating in through CT now. Utility from the side of HOTU does draw a 5-man rotate in through spawn, and Maden's going to try and jump on the box. We're getting a little bit of a T2ers right now. Duke is on the prowl for the flank. mizu's able to find Maden. USP kill does come through. Fear's able to find one. Tails finds Fear. mizu finds another onto jackasmo. That's the rifle down. KRIMZ and Jambo left in the 2v3. Duke finds Jambo, and KRIMZ is on his lonesome. P250 in hand, no utility on the belt either, and you can already see the forces of HOTU trying to not allow any sort of save or any sort of damage. You just have to delay the time, wait for KRIMZ to walk into the crosshair, and he will. Frontales separates the head from the shoulders. The third round for HOTU, off to a strong start, just as they were on Anubis, but I feel like Fnatic's strength lies in their T side and being able to connect the dots with those AK-47s. Round 4 will be the first rifle round from the side of Fnatic. AWP in Jambo's hands, so maybe an opportunity for a shot out towards the mid doors, but instead is going to deploy the long doors smoke for his teammate, and then offer more support out towards long. Lurk smoke deployed from Duke. HE grenade to clear the close angle. Mid to B split is going to be the prize for HOTU. The activation comes from upper tunnels, and jackasmo finds 3 great headshots. Jambo's able to clean up a 4th. Frontales left on his lonesome, only finds a little bit of a ball bang onto Fear, so now is essentially forced to save this round unless Fnatic just serve him up duels on a silver platter, but I don't think that will be the case. Frontales making an exit in towards T-spawn. It's going to be a 1 and 5 second save, so a lengthy one at that, and plenty of time for Fnatic as well to go hunting for this AWP, but realistically, I don't foresee them actually doing it. I think this early in the game, it's not worth the risk that it poses, dropping some of these rifles, even when you have 3 members with AK-47s. It feels like the only member you'd be comfortable sending on a hunt would have been Maden, but after he picks up the AK-47, I'm in the same boat as well. The AK-47s definitely hold a higher priority over taking out the AWP, especially since HOTU's money is not going to be all that good in this next round, so Frontales is going to be kind of on that hero op, and essentially, if I had to make a prediction, going to be in this exact position next spot, or next round. Timer ticking away. Fnatic, like I said, not wanting to go hunting, know that the AK-47s are more valuable than taking out that AWP. And so in round 5, Fnatic should be looking to identify where that AWP is going to be trying to lock down and essentially try to avoid it or just try to not feed into the duels. And AWP on that T side does offer a lot of support, but realistically, on a map like Dust 2, it's not going to be able to do all of the work. Unless you are able to get it out towards long and into pit, but already a little bit of a mid boost is missed, and Frontales finds no spot towards bottom mid. So we'll train his gaze up towards catwalk. It's a little bit of a force buy from the side of HOTU. Actually, we're able to field a pretty hefty buy now that I'm looking at it. 3 AK-47s. kAlash is going to be the only one drawing the short end of the stick with the Desert Eagle. Ability feels like it's what HOTU cares about. Maden's getting close towards blue box, but as the smoke fades, Duke is going to be served up on a silver platter. Frontales finds the trade. Jambo's forced to retreat back in towards car, but he has the AWP, so he needs support from Fear. And as Fear arrives, he's playing the counter flash angle. Jambo converts that first kill onto Norbert. Frontales left on his lonesome out towards long. has to play defensive. Corner smoke will allow for some more maneuvering from Fnatic. Whether Fear wants to go through that smoke or just kind of play the edge of it is the next question. And just going to go inside and immediately make a retreat. Maden towards top mid finds kAlash and frontales, dropping them by a hefty amount of HP. Regroup is happening in towards catwalk. Mizu eats a grenade of his own. Fear's going to be removed from the round, and Mizu surprisingly doesn't pump that gas pedal. Going to be a reroute from the side of HOTU. 35 seconds left on the clock. They're trying to play the patience game and really trying to test the mental fortitude. Fnatic. jackasmo close by the double doors. Should hear some information that Mizu's trying to go back up towards catwalk, but all Jambo has is a Molotov. Flashbang in towards spawn. Jambo has a free access and able to take out frontales. Mizu is kind of stuck in place as he turns around and finds jackasmo. kAlash has found the AWP of Jambo, so all KRIMZ has to do is pull off a 1v2, but jumping on the catwalk box will be denied as toes are being tickled. The bomb is going to be stuck, and KRIMZ finds the first kill onto kAlash. It's a 1v1, and KRIMZ just narrowly ducks around and averts the headshot, but dropped down to 14 HP with the Molotov. Is going to end up falling, and by the skin of their teeth, HOTU are able to convert the round, and you can even see the vibes are high. Norbert's giving a little bit of laugh, looking around. Even in the scary rounds, HOTU are able to have a little bit of fun. KRIMZ able to convert a beautiful headshot, but got Molotov in towards the boost box, kind of forced him into a position he didn't want to be in. Tactical timeout does make its way into the server from the side of Fnatic. Money is going to be a little bit mixed, so they have to decide how they want to buy and how they want to approach this next round as well. Fear's strat book just ain't it. That is a statement I don't think you'll hear a lot, but I think is very true. I think, especially in Anubis, it felt like they came into it confident, but as soon as they ran out of strats on their on their CT side, or set plays, or anti-strat material, or whatever that looks like for Fnatic CT side, it was just kind of at a loss. Also gonna adjust my camera real quick so I can not be in the way of anything. We're gonna cover up the couch. Jambo finds an early pick in towards lower B. kAlash is gonna be the one to hit the floor. Duke clearing out lower tunnels allows his teammate to advance, and that's mid-control taken from the side of HOTU. What interests me is whether or not Maden's going to get activated. Out towards long, but now the focus will be towards catwalk. Missed shot from the op of Jambo. It gets dropped down to 17 HP. No Bogdan's Law required. It's a lot of space taken from Duke as well up towards catwalk. Being able to peer his head around the corner as well, not spotting anything towards the site, will work wonders. Duke counterflash off the angle, thinks about retreating, but Jambo now is stuck between a rock and a hard place and cannot make up his mind. Norbert finds 2 kills out towards long, is trying to continue the activation, but Fear has to go swinging and try to recover this round, but he will not be able to do so. It's 1 kill. Mizu finds the refrag, and KRIMZ and jackasmo in a 2v3. It feels like they should go for this, but that CT smoke is going to deny jackasmo any entrance. So the regroup should happen towards catwalk, and we'll see a 2v3 retake. KRIMZ has a smoke on the belt, but I'm assuming that's going to be for that bomb. Shot is missed from the side of frontales, but KRIMZ is able to convert the kill on the reswing. Duke dropped down to 12 HP on the dink. He's able to find 1. So jackasmo has the tall task ahead of him and can't even get started. A beautiful shot from Duke is going to close it out and put HOTU onto 6. The fact that Norbert was able to clear out Maden and force Jambo into that decision-making process is kind of impressive to me. I mean, that kill the kill onto Maden on the platform, it feels like a very unconventional position for Maden, and so again, the fact that Norbert was able to clear it out is very impressive. I love Norbert, but please lose, man. Fnatic need to rise. Classic Fnatic sucking on strong side to pop up. I mean, that's what we saw in Anubis. Fnatic almost scraped back their map pick of Anubis on the B side. But HOTU were just able to connect the dots a little bit quicker. He's hearing the jump spot up towards Catwalk. Maden is going to be also here to offer a little bit of a bait and switch. But on the jump spot, Maden won't spot anything either. KRIMZ is going to be left on his lonesome to defend this B side. But the clear doesn't happen. He's able to find 2 kills, and Norbert gets the trade. So numbers are even as the push is pressed out towards this B site. Bomb should be punched in relatively quickly too, but jackasmo is going to eat a hefty nade, but not without taking down Norbert with him. There's a re-peek in, and Fear's made his way through the doors, but frontales is keen to it. No bomb plant needed. HOTU on a roll. Wait, it's not Trotta. Yeah, I am not Trotta, don't worry. If you're just tuning in, my name is Blakert. I am a color commentator in North America, and Trotta gave me the opportunity to watch some Counter-Strike this morning, or I guess coming into this afternoon. So here we are. We're going to be taking a look at the rest of this Fnatic versus HOTU match, and then we have the grand finals of Roman Imperium Cup, which is Gentle Mates versus the winner of this. You should pretend you're his good twin. Corporate job, Trotta. Do I just need to go put on, like, a polo shirt? Snazzy up, make it a real official cast. Oh, Fear didn't actually clear out Duke in the corner, so... as frontales is able to find the kill. There's an exchange happening. My dog is going crazy in the background if you can't hear that. Jambo missed shot towards Catwalk. The push is being pressed from Duke. Jambo's able to recover. Peek from Norbert out towards long doesn't result in any kills. But mizu's found his way out on towards this B site. There's still a member here, and I believe that's going to be KRIMZ, but KRIMZ has just missed the timing, and mizu is going to walk in, find KRIMZ with his back turned, and KRIMZ will hit the floor. That's the B site secured for the side of HOTU. They're going to have a free entrance in, and so now jackasmo and Jambo have to make a decision on whether they save this round or try to make this retake. But in the 2v4, it doesn't feel possible. kAlash has just given up a little bit of information as well, so jackasmo has free entrance in towards lower B. jackasmo is just going to turn right back around. Norbert's going to activate late from top mid and find jackasmo with his pants down. Jambo with the AWP is trying to save it, but only has 20 seconds left and is spotted as well, so that save call made a lot more difficult. All of the pincers are going to start to close around him. And on the reswing, he will finally fall. mizu's going to be the one to collect the kill. It's the 7th round for HOTU. Goatbert. And Norbert, I mean, we were talking about it at the beginning of the stream. Norbert brings a lot of experience to this young roster, and on top of that, he's finding kills. We saw a little bit less impact from him on Anubis, but realistically, I think that's just him coordinating the team around and constantly looking at the minimap. Gonna be aggressive long play from the side of HOTU. Flashbangs being recycled. Jambo's flash off the angle, but there's still a reswing from jackasmo, and blind as a bat, he will hit the floor. kAlash is able to find the second kill on towards Fear, and already in the 2v5, HOTU just have to press the pedal all the way to the floor. The flash comes in. Jambo can't do a damn thing. Maden with the Desert Eagle is offering up a spam and can't connect the dots. It is a one-sided affair on Dust 2 as we head into round number 10. And I believe a tack timeout is called from the side of Fnatic, if I would assume. Yes. Want to make sure everyone's on the same page in terms of strategy going into this one. Buy still being coordinated. Jambo's going to have that AWP back into his hands. And Fear is talking. Showing some passion across the communications. Jambo cool as a cucumber, and based on the body language, Maden looks a little bit stressed out. You might say he's full of fear. You could indeed say that one. Round number 10 starts with this boost top mid from the side of HOTU. Not going to spot anything out towards Catwalk. As Fear is still playing that patient game, but HOTU are also taking their time with that lower control. Flashbang in towards Cat to allow a peek, but nothing's going to come to fruition. You can also see Fears playing the corner of Catwalk, so this Fnatic defense is really postured for a mid to B hit. But as they collect some information, that should force Fnatic to start rotating. Airburst from Molotov will not force Fear out of position, but he's also taking a little bit more passive angle. Flashbang to allow Duke to cross into the cubby. Catwalk smoke's able to be deployed as well, but Fear's thinking about dropping a smoke of his own. And that will essentially halt the entire push of HOTU, but Fear has to make a decision on when he wants to drop this smoke. Duke's going to try and drop that boost box smoke, and there's going to be a secondary smoke as well, but holy, Fear's able to go down through that smoke. Norbert finds Maden once again out towards long, and that's the A site essentially secured. Fnatic left in this 3v5, have to wait for mizu to activate to get any more information, but you see Jambo's also posted on the angle. He's going to turn away and offer up the side. mizu collects the kill. KRIMZ and jackasmo in a 2v5 are forced to save. KRIMZ should try to recover this AWP. Wood is not spotted just yet, and once it is, mizu takes care of it. jackasmo left on his lonesome has to try and save this M4A4. There's going to be no attempt at that AWP either. jackasmo might just walk right into the crosshair. Shots fired. jackasmo able to find a first kill. Has to find more to be able to save this rifle. Smoke gets deployed. Actually, never mind. It was a smoke, but a little bit late on the bloom. Doesn't deny the peak. HOTU able to shut down Fnatic in its entirety. I don't know if you caught it there too, but jackasmo's M4 Timakaw is has a name tag on it. It says what the Sigma. Leg through the double doors, bottom mid for frontales. jackasmo going to receive the brunt end of that impact, drop down to 43 HP. Just softens up this defense ever so slightly. The counter aggression being prepped up from the side of Fnatic towards Catwalk as the Molotov fly. Fears activates and he finds frontales. kAlash is good for the trade. Looking to whip around the spray in towards mid, but cannot convert it. Jambo on the reswing towards Cat is able to go 1-for-1 with his teammate, but mizu has taken all of this base out towards B. jackasmo is fast on the rotation, but he ate that op shot through mid doors, so he is dropped down quite a bit. Bomb is scooped up. mizu's made his way in towards this B site, but still, HOTU have free access to the A site, and they don't necessarily know it yet. And you can even see the doubt in Fnatic's mind as jackasmo tries to get a preemptive rotation in towards A, but all the information is collected from kAlash. KRIMZ is going to be awaiting towards doors, and Fnatic still have no idea until now where HOTU are trying to attack. kAlash is waiting with that AWP for any rotation, but he's just narrowly missed the timing. mizu will secure that post plant with the molly in towards window, but that smoke doors is going to fade next, and Norbert's trying to find a great position. kAlash is able to find jackasmo through mid doors, and now Norbert is stuck on KRIMZ like a ship in the night, but Norbert will come out of the smoke advantageously, and HOTU are just running over Fnatic. This cannot be the confidence that, or the confidence that Fnatic is playing with going into the season. I mean, I think map 1 might have been the confidence killer, but you still have to try and come into this one with a clean slate, and considering you're 9 rounds down, it makes that task even more difficult. Missed op shot from Norbert. Double op set up on that T side. Fnatic with a force right back into this. They know that they can't let this round go to waste, but frontales and Duke will ensure it does. 2 kills early on for the side of HOTU. Cross smoke being deployed, and rotations already underway towards this A site from the side of Fnatic. Bomb going to slowly make its way out towards long doors. Deep flash does secure the swing from kAlash, but he's just taking his time, waiting for anyone to swing through the CT smoker, waiting for Fear to swing top side, but Fear's able to convert the kill. That's the push stunted for the time being. But again, mizu's found his way onto this B site, so it's going to be a full abandoning of the ship from the side of HOTU, as mizu just has to hold this position and can realistically also try to take a more forward position, but they're just going to try and secure the rotation in for the bomb. Still has to be cautious of rotations through CT, but mizu just wants to make sure that that bomb can cross safely through the tunnels. That's also created a gap for KRIMZ to make his way in. Molotov will deny that gap. The retake has to be prepped. It's a 3v3. Health advantage lies in favor of HOTU, and even more so with that AWP shot. Frontales is going to try and whip out the Desert Eagle and removes fear from this round. Walkout smoke deployed. HE goes in, and jackasmo will be exposed in his entirety. Frontales and mizu go 1-for-1. It is an 11-1 lead for HOTU on their map pick of Dust 2. 2 rounds away from securing their spot in the grand finals, and I mean, I expected HOTU to come out victorious on this one, I will say, but the fact that it is this one-sided is absolutely insane to me. I mean, you can see the pressure starting to mount on each of these players. jackasmo himself does look pretty stressed out. I mean, you have 2 rounds to really pull off an overtime affair, but even then. Back timeout comes in from Fnatic. As expected, the entire tournament run of Fnatic relies on this pistol round right here, because assuming that HOTU picked this one up, we'll see a force, I'd assume, from the side of Fnatic, and most definitely a buy from HOTU. So the only way that Fnatic have a chance of getting back into this match is if they secure this first or this second pistol round of Dust 2. Attack pause comes to a close. Freeze time soon to follow. And HOTU sticking with the 2 dual Berettas. Duke is going to be left with no armor and a flashbang, but he's just going to offer support towards those catwalk players, I'd imagine, or try to pop a flash out towards long, and it's going to be towards cat. Buck smoke finds its mark. Fnatic with 4 members stacked in towards tunnels are trying to take slow aggression towards mid. Looks like HOTU are all too prepared for this. mizu playing the anti-flash angle. kAlash is playing the corner. A flashbang up catwalk from the side of HOTU. Fear is taken out. kAlash goes 1-for-1. Make that 2. Norbert finally activates with the dual Berettas and finds 2 of his own. KRIMZ is left on his lonesome in a 1v3 with the Glock in his hand, but I don't think this one will be possible. But as I say that, he collects the first kill. Has a USP in his hands now and finds a second, but Norbert shuts it down. I thought there was a slight chance KRIMZ found that third one, but with Norbert playing that close angle, it will not be possible. HOTU are now 1 round away from securing their spot in the grand finals. And, I mean, it would be a essentially flawless run through map 2. And essentially a warm-up game into this grand finals, because Norbert and the rest of HOTU have made this series look easy. There was some struggles on Anubis, but we're at 12-1. It's round 14, and HOTU have the firepower to close this one out, and they are going to play with complete disrespect. Norbert finds 1. mizu and frontales find their exchanges out towards mid, but mizu has to retreat. Maden has found 2 deagle kills and even it out. There's rifles down for the collection for the last 2 members of Fnatic, but jackasmo is just going to look to take all of the space and try to creep through mid doors, and he does. He sneaks right past the gaze of mizu. But jackasmo is waiting for a rotation, and like ships in the night, they're right next to each other, so it's a matter of which smoke fades first. But mizu goes right back in towards tunnels. jackasmo is going to still dodge this timing, but a resmoke will alert jackasmo of his position, and mizu finds the kill. Maden with 9 HP is all that stands in between HOTU and their grand final matchup against Gentlemates, and he is going to go hunting towards bottom mid. Drops in towards CT with that Desert Eagle. mizu has a Galil in hand, so he's here to rebound it, but he cannot give this isolated duel, because as soon as he does, there would be an opportunity, but with 9 HP, it will not be possible. mizu and the rest of HOTU close out Dust 2 13-1 to move on to the grand finals, and that has got to be a heartbreaker for Fnatic. I mean, holy smokes. I talked about how I thought HOTU were going to win this match, but I did not think it would be in that fashion.